Hello and welcome to the First at Home XYZ Design Challenge. First needs you to design a path for a robot using only Cartesian coordinates to get from point A to point B. As a designer, Cartesian coordinates are useful for planning paths for different planes of a design. You will be exploring Cartesian coordinates and how they are used in everything from 3D printers to video games, and then you will design an object and make your robot draw out the path from A to B using only Cartesian coordinates as instructions. Here are some words you will be learning and using in today's lesson. The first one is orientation, which is the direction something is facing. CAD is an acronym which stands for Computer Aided Drafting. A Cartesian plane is a coordinate system defined by the X and Y axis. A grid is a series of vertical and horizontal lines that make squares, and a layout can be a drawing or a diagram that shows how something is constructed. Absolute coordinates are measured from the origin, relative coordinates are measured from a designated reference point, and 2D is the name for a flat design that has no depth. Now as we move on to the next section, building the background and brainstorming, I first want you to watch this video which will help you understand Cartesian coordinates. Now that you've watched the video, we can move on. I want you to consider Cartesian coordinates and how they affect technology in many different things today. And I also want you to read an article on how 3D printers rely on Cartesian coordinates. Now, designing directions that use Cartesian coordinates can be important. 3D printers have code called G-code that allows them to print on specific paths using Cartesian coordinates. And video games use Cartesian coordinates in 3 dimensions and 2 dimensions, which is what allows game objects to move from one position to another. Now, as you practice applying Cartesian coordinates, find an object that you can find around your house, and it can be a block or any other household item. It will be your robot for you to use in your design challenge. Look at the object from a single angle and draw on the coordinate planes below. Draw it only from one angle to create a 2D drawing of the object. Then look at the item from the side. What type of drawing will the object be if you include the Z-axis in your drawing? And how does this relate to what you learned about the 3D printers? Now moving on to programming with Cartesian coordinates, you will now have your robot move on a grid and get from point A to point B. Lay out an XY grid on your floor, driveway, or paper, and test out these coordinates before you get started using the grid below. Place markers at point A and point B, and then decide how to get from point A to point B as you write down the coordinates. And how do different coordinates affect the path your robot travels, and how could you use these coordinates to create your autonomous mode? After you complete all of this, ask yourself these reflection questions. Does the Cartesian coordinate system give you a better understanding of planning a path or design? And did you learn a new way to see the playing field? What ways will the Cartesian coordinate system affect your future designs? And what skills did you use or learn in this activity? If you really enjoyed this project, then you can choose a CAD program to practice laying out using coordinates. And you can also create a 2D shape using the line tools and Cartesian coordinates. Just send the coordinates to a friend to create your design. Last but not least, don't forget to use the core value self-reflection sheet to see how well you did in this challenge.